help keep you and others protected against COVID-19 and its variants. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find out if you're eligible and to find a booster near you. Let's keep each other safer and healthier this winter. Get your booster, and don't forget to get your flu shot, too. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Experience the excitement of Gold Country Casino Resort's newest hotspot for eating, drinking, and gaming at Agave Cantina and Grill. Agave offers a full selection of Mexican cuisine, 2 unique and engaging bar experiences, and a 22-foot big screen TV. Enjoy our full-service bar. Try your luck on our new slot machines while enjoying our non-smoking gaming floor. Only at Gold Country Casino Resort. Must be 21 or older to enter.
Years. At one point, they actually alerted to me someone was trying to buy a car under my name, and I was able to take care of that real quickly. And now Credit Karma, they're asking you if handling your personal finances, does it make you feel overwhelmed? You're not the only one that thinks so. Credit Karma is here to help you make those big calls with more confidence. Whether you're refinancing credit card debt or paying for an upcoming expense, Karma Confidence technology automatically identifies the loan that you're most likely to be approved for from a list of trusted lenders. And members who compare loan offers on Credit Karma save on average of 32% on interest rates. The best part of that is completely free, and comparing loan offers won't affect your credit score. Credit Karma even tracks your progress and lets you know if you can refinance and save money. Ready to apply? Head to creditkarma.com/loan offers to see personalized offers with your approval odds right now. Go to creditkarma.com/loan offers to find the loan for you.
State, I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The new showroom is here at Lexus of Sacramento. Come see what 21st century car buying is all about. Every convenience you need is designed into the new state-of-the-art showroom. The new Lexus of Sacramento facility is uniquely Sacramento with its beautiful artwork and relaxing setting. You'll feel right at home selecting the new pre-owned Lexus you always wanted. Enjoy the same great staff today in their beautiful new facility at their familiar location, 2600 Fulton Avenue. Online at lexusofsacramento.com.
Huft Home Services is creating a greener future through electrification one home at a time. Climate-proof your home today with up to $14,400 in rebates to electrify your home, making your home safer, more comfortable, and energy efficient while reducing your carbon footprint has never been more affordable. Why wouldn't you take advantage before the funds disappear? Huft has helped clients just like you receive millions of dollars in rebates. Electrification rebates are higher than they've ever been. Waiting isn't an option. Let Huft Home Services get the rebates you deserve before the money runs out. And remember, if you've gotten a quote from another company that you don't like, don't pay it. Call for Huft's Second Opinion Guarantee. Guaranteed to beat the competition on comparative products and services. Google Huft Home Services today.
Grocery Outlet remains committed to providing you a clean and safe shopping experience. Our stores are locally owned and operated by people in your community, and we love helping you save money. Here at Grocery Outlet, we believe bargain shopping should be fun. You'll find great deals on the brands you love, but also take care of all your shopping needs. Savings, safety, and convenience all in one place. Stop by your local Grocery Outlet today.
And that's Xfinity. And Xfinity is more than just super fast internet speed. It's reliable in-home Wi-Fi coverage for everyone in your house. Plus, you can save up to $400 a year on wireless when you add Xfinity Mobile and get nationwide 5G included at no extra cost. I trade emails with Tom and Cody every night, and many times we're sharing videos. That takes uploading and downloading, and for that, you want fast internet. And that's Xfinity. For me, Wi-Fi from Xfinity is a game changer. Get started with Xfinity Internet for $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year agreement and see how you can save up to $400 on wireless when you add Xfinity Mobile. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay, ends 3/31/22. Restrictions apply. New insurance subject to change. After term, regular rates apply. Compares optimized pricing of top carriers. Xfinity Internet required.
It's a giant takeover celebration! Hit it!
What is going on?
Your bear's a human now and Johnny's a monster. Oh, no, I was not supposed to say that out loud.
Treat yourself.
full of transfer mania.
Being a human works.
And freaky fun.
It's like Freaky Friday, but on a Tuesday, though.
Watch Hotel Transylvania Transfer Mania, rated PG, a monster event January 14th, exclusively on Amazon Prime Video.
Ask me to play your favorite 6 feet away.
Alexa, play
Art of Fresh. Our produce pros work with trusted top quality growers, so your hand-picked fruits and vegetables are harvested at the peak of flavor and handled with care from farm to you. Come by and pick up fresh-cut, colorful produce prepared daily in our store and bursting with flavor. We meet or beat national standards, so you get the cream of the crop. Shop in-store or online at Safeway.com today for delivery or for convenient curbside pickup.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Dixie Sports. This is Charlton of Dixie Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Dixie Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Dixie Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to people who love sports. And that's a lot of people. If that makes sense to you. What a beautiful, beautiful day in the neighborhood. Really do appreciate everything that's going on. I just want to say, what a great day. It is actually Wednesday. We call it January the 12th, but it feels like it's July the 12th. It is so hot in California. It's so hot. In fact, I dropped an egg on the sidewalk and it scrambled. Okay, that's not a good joke. Clap it, he's over with his joke. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show, Big C Sports. It's been nominated Big C Sports. All around the world, powered by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade in Canada, the world. You go by and test drive yours. Just tell them Charlton of Big C Sports sent it, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars. Also, all around the world, just see Big C Sports available on 20 podcast applications. That's 20. I got to catch my breath because sometimes it's hard to count to 10 before I got to take a deep breath, but I will say Big C Sports follow. You can follow us on Google Podcast, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeart-Radio-Podcast, Castbox, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, and also Pod Chaser. Give me some praise. I said give me some praise. I can count to 10. You think it's easy? You try it. It's off track level 1. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on Gio Savan Podcast out of London, England. You can find us on Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher, Podcast, Radio Line Podcast, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, and Listen Notes, and also Podcast Wise. Give that some praise. I said give Podcast Wise some praise. All fair and love and war. Really do love doing the Big C Sports Podcast. You can also follow Big C Sports on TV, on television, like the Mayberry RFD. You can find Big C Sports on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Give that some praise. You think I talk fast? Wait till you listen to people who drink a lot of coffee. I just have some coffee, as if I don't speak fast enough. It's all fair and level war. If I talk too fast, listen faster. Really do appreciate Big C Sports Podcast all around the universe. Love paying homage to my family legacy. My mother's side, my great-grandmother called her Mamo, just a wonderful person. Did everything possible to keep their family together. Often saying, boy, go get me a switch. And then my great-grandfather, the patriarch of the family, he was a former Negro League baseball player, also known around his church friends for making the best moonshine in the universe. For saying, boy, get out of that barn. I said, boys, get out of that barn. Oh, those days were funny. Like, what are all those potatoes floating around in that big old barrel for? I really appreciate that. And then my grandmother, Muddia, a seer, just a wonderful person, can see things in people just by looking at them. All fair and level. My grandfather, Hezekiah, also a very loving person as well. My beautiful mother helped start a Little League, actually a Head Start program and a food program to make sure people didn't go hungry in Northern California, and help win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give Mama some praise. I said some praise. A Head Start program, a food program, and a Little League Championship of the universe. Gotta give that some praise. Big Saban won championships. Come on. Beautiful. Always saying rise and shine. All fair and level war. I want to say also on my father's side of the family, the patriarch of the family, Albert Curry, intelligent man, former businessman, owned 2 service stations in Oakland, California, also ran 2 churches and built a 3rd in Central California and also in the Bay Area. Really do appreciate that. A very smart person. My grandmother, Alberta Curry, helping my grandfather with the service stations and also the churches in Northern California. Really do appreciate the hard work they put in keeping the family strong. My father, a retired Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, making sure planes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. My beautiful brother Todd spoke with him like thunder and lightning. Todd, what a great voice. Really do appreciate that. Always reading. My beautiful daughter Daisy, college graduate, 3.5 years, double degrees with honors. Very beautiful woman. Also would help me set up for events when coaches came to the West Coast. Really do appreciate that. My son Malcolm, a college student, a sophomore in college, very intelligent. All over the NBA, gives me NBA stats inside and out. Very smart, and really do appreciate everything that he does with Big C Sports. And then Big C, with all of his wealth of knowledge in the past, give him all some praise. I say give him all praise, praise, praise. That coffee's kicking in. They got some coffee that kicked in, and I had a donut. Oh, fair. And Level War, really do appreciate that. I love when I say with Big C Sports Podcast, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. You can Google Zariah Matthews, ESPY-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. Zariah Matthews with Disney Corporation has a movie coming out. See Your Name. It's a great movie. All fair and love and war. But as I love saying with Big C Sports Podcast, let's get ready to rumble. ESPY-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. Welcome to the show. No scripts. People say that's very obvious, but now, no three-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear. I do this show with my higher self, and I always honor God. I produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast the shows. And then I do the sound effects based on what's provided by the agency. We can all use more laughter in life. Really do appreciate that. And then from there, I do the storytelling, the commercials done by the agency out of New York City. And then I do the play-by-play. And last night they flipped the script. Ja Morant for 3. That good boy. And they got a hold of the Golden State Warriors. That's a good team. Memphis is a good team. They're going to be probably one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the Western Conference, all fair and level war. Then I upload the show. It goes out to 20 podcast applications all over the universe. And then 4 TV platforms all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. Again, you can follow Big C Sports on television and podcast. Really do appreciate that. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon, and Fire TV. And then again, 20 podcast applications. A lot of good things coming to Big C Sports in 2022. As I love saying, growing up as a young boy, one of my favorite verses in the Bible was Genesis 13:15. For all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. In the book of James, chapter 4, verse 2, at the end of it, it says, ye have not because ye ask not. If you want something, just ask. The answer is either yes or no. Give asking some praise. I'm asking for $100 million, and I need it now. Even if it's in nickels and dimes. What would you do with $100 million? Somebody just won, I think it was $640 million. 2 people split the grand prize, so that's $320 million. And then there were a lot of other people that won money as well. What would you do with $100 million? I'd say a lot more than you're doing now. And me too, all fair and level. Well, I do appreciate everybody that loves sports and follows Big C Sports. I love paying homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline. I will constantly slow down for this because the Veterans Crisis Hotline, people say, man, you haven't slowed down at all. But the Veterans Crisis Hotline, they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones getting help. And I'm going to imagine a world where we have love, peace, and soul for everybody, where kindness is appreciated, but meanness is a sin. That kindness is appreciated. Can you be more kind this year? Meanness and rudeness is a sin. I was talking to my pastor about that, and he said, stay away from rude people. That kindness is appreciated and is blessed by God, but meanness is a sin. And I want to make sure that's my mantra for 2022. Don't let people who are mean suck life out of you. Okay? Just pray for them. God, you deal with it. And everybody knows what that means. You know if you're mean or if you're nice. Like Santa knows if you're being naughty or nice. If you're going to be mean, that's just a sin in the eyes of God. If you're going to be nice, that's appreciated by the eyes of God. All fair and level war. But the Veterans Crisis Hotline, they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. So that's kindness. Don't just say we appreciate our veterans. Give out a number they can call and get help. It's 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And they will stand on their head to make sure you get help and give the Veterans Crisis Hotline some praise. Just like TD Jakes, let's get your stick together and give it some praise. The mantra for 2022 is stay away from mean people. They suck. Don't let mean people into your life. Just say, God, deal with it. God can handle it. It's all fair and level war, and they know who they are. I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, God said, let there be light. To say play, Big C Sports Podcast. You will see our apps pop up really all over the world, from sea to shining sea. Just like the Starship Enterprise, to go out and boldly go where no man or woman has gone before. Isn't that something? That's amazing. They used to pick up that tricorder and says, beam me up, Scotty. And we can really go where no man has gone before, because on 20 podcast platforms and then streaming on 4 TV platforms, that's a lot to do. I appreciate that God gave me the skill to do it. And I really appreciate the growth that's happening with Big C Sports, especially with my funding partners. Really do appreciate that. Life is going to be so much better in 2022, and it's already blessed. I want to say I really do appreciate the affiliation with ValleyHomesWeekly.com, a real estate show that plays in Central California. Also, if you want to know what's going on in real estate in your neck of the woods, and you want guys who don't scream like me, go to the NationalRealEstatePost.com. Those guys talk really loud. They drink the same kind of coffee that I have. Coming to you in 2022. Listen up. 1, 2, 3. The Big C Coffee. It's a tasty coffee, and it's made with exotic beans. Give that some praise. I actually got a sponsor for the Big C Coffee. With that, your cup. That makes sense to you. Oh, I love it, the Big C Coffee. I thought it was just a joke in 2021 when I was saying, like the Big C Burger, coming up with the Big C Coffee and getting a sponsor to sponsor a Big C Coffee. It tastes better in your cup. Pour that in your cup. The best part of waking up is Big C in your cup. You'll love the chocolate flavor. Oh man, life is funny. It's all fair and level war. I also want to say, for those of you who are interested in what's going on in mortgages in your neck of the woods, go to mortgagenewsdaily.com. That's mortgagenewsdaily.com. You can find out what's going on with mortgages in your neck of the woods. Also, very happy to be introduced with the Big C team for unsecured funding between $10,000 and $400,000 in funding. Funds can be used for any purpose. You can buy some Big C coffee. You can buy the Big C burger. It's for business startups, real estate investments, repairs and renovations, working capital. Sometimes you just need some working capital. Again, what would you do if someone gave you $100,000? Think about that. Investing in the stock market, debt consolidation, student loans. I'm hoping that President Biden will write off student loans for college students and make that retroactive to the year 2000, if that makes sense to you. That's not too much to ask. And also, we have over 240 lenders waiting to fund you. There are some minimum requirements. We want an arm and a leg. No, that's a joke. No arm and a leg. But a 650 credit score, $27,000 annual income, no new lines of credit, and the last 6 months in current on your bills, and then 2 years consistent income. You got to give that some praise. If the bank say no, the Big C team can say yes. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624, and give that some praise. You got to give that some praise with the Big C team. All spare level war. I do want to say, for all of you people, I mean you people, good people, you people. Someone told me, you people. I thought that was funny. He said, you people, not just you, but you know what I mean. I said, what are you people? He was talking about me. You people. You people is funny. For you people who like to go out and bet, make sure you're careful. You never want to bet more than you can afford to lose. And I mean that. You don't want to bet more than you can afford to lose, because oftentimes people do. The house never loses. Look at sports betting. It's a great business if you don't spend money you need to keep. But just for you sports fans out there, be careful when you're out there betting. The house never loses. They always get the money back. I also want to say this segment is sponsored by Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% honest game. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, you want to eat the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all those exotic meats. And it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hand. Pretty soon, you can have the Big C burger with the Big C coffee. Get that some praise. How many people got their own coffee? It's amazing when you ask something. Yeah, we can come up with that. Yeah, for you people. He didn't mean anything by it, but he said, you know, you people drink coffee too, right? I said, what are you people? Oh, fair level war, but yeah, you people drink coffee too. We the people. We the people drink coffee. All fair level war. I got some NBA basketball coming up for you tonight with the Big C's NBA Power Rankings. And my goodness, it changed a little bit last night. It changed a little bit last night when Memphis played Golden State. But it's all fair level war. I love doing Big C's NBA Power Rankings covering NBA basketball. Also got some stuff coming up on NHL hockey. A lot of people, maybe they're forgetting about hockey with football and basketball being so great. And then even got a little bit more on coaches who have great quarterbacks and quarterbacks that have passed for over 4,000 yards this year. There's 10 of them in the NFL. Not all are in the playoffs, but I got some stuff on the quarterbacks that have passed for over 10,000 yards this year. There's 10 of them in the NFL. I'll do that when we come back and talk about that. But I'm going to take the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout, and come back and talk about the NBA Power Rankings Big C's thoughts in the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on 20 podcast applications all over the universe, and 4 TV applications streaming live. Brother dude, appreciate that. So much to talk about on a beautiful January the 12th, 2022. You gotta remember it's 2022, not 2021. I want to talk about the Big C's coffee coming up soon at a coffee stand near you. Ask for the Big C cup, if that makes sense to you. It tastes better in your mouth. The coffee does than it does in your cup. So pour it. Be careful when you sip it because it can be hot. When you eat it, you want to eat it with the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all those exotic leaves. But the Big C coffee coming to a coffee shop near you soon. All fair and left to work. Coming to a basketball hoop. Are you ready for some basketball? Of course you are. I got Big C's NBA basketball power rankings. And again, this is for this week. It happened last night. I'll talk about the top 2 teams in a little bit. But believe it or not, 2021-22 season is about halfway done. And we're still in the thick of football. So that's why it seems like it's not as completed as it should be. But we're halfway through the NBA season. The official midway point of 615 games were hit last night. About 1,230 games to go. When you think about it, with 7 of Wednesday's 9 games are in the books right now. The 6 have already played 41 games, with 3 of them, Memphis, Milwaukee, Sacramento, having played 42. A few teams, if you think about those that have multiple games postponed because of COVID, they had to reschedule. And, that's still going to be maybe even part of our society when you think about the CDC. We're just going to have to live with COVID the same way we lived with a head cold, if that makes sense to you. But there are a lot of good things happening. There are some great teams hitting the mid-season point, streaking very high, playing their best basketball. When I think about Memphis and Golden State, through Sunday, 4 teams, the Dallas, Memphis, Philadelphia, and Toronto, with active winning streaks. And Memphis has just hit a 10-game winning streak with their win over Golden State. So we'll see what happens, how they can push forward in the Western Conference playoffs. When you look at the Mavericks, they have a good team also. There's just so much to talk about in the power rankings. Again, it comes NBA because they play oftentimes 3 times in a week. One team might be at the top of the mountain on Monday. They might be in 3rd spot on Friday. That's just the way it plays. Anthony Edwards, Minnesota, was a plus 96 minutes in 4 games last week, a plus 96. And then when you think about Reggie Jackson for the LA Clippers, had the minus 59 in 4 games last week. Players got to stay healthy, and based on COVID protocol, sometimes players got to play more minutes than they're expected to. When you think about how great the Grizzlies have been to go 10 in a row in the NBA, at home and on the road, the great Ja Morant doing his thing. Maybe they'll build a statue down in Memphis for the great Ja Morant. And then Sacramento Kings, like Keith Sweat said, something just ain't right. They're trying to figure it out. They have a brand new arena built about 5 years ago. It's a beautiful Golden One Center. And they've tried several different coaches, but something's just not right. It's a beautiful city, right on the water of the Sacramento River, and they can't seem to find the chemistry. They're going to have to find it because they have in my opinion, they have the makeup of a playoff team. You have East versus West Conference with games coming up into, again, not just counting the last game, but the East is slightly leading the West, winning 51% of the game the West is winning 51% of the games against the Eastern Conference. It's all fair and level war. When I think about how many great teams there are in the NBA, there's just so many of them. Memphis is good, Toronto, Dallas doing their thing, Minnesota, and then Boston. They had a nice comeback win against Indiana, but there's some good teams to pay attention to. Also, great news for the Western Conference Golden State Warriors. The great Klay Thompson, the Splash Brother, came back and joined Steph Curry with the Golden State Warriors. And now he has a 4-game trip that takes him through Memphis. And that happened last night. They got to go to Milwaukee on Thursday, Chicago on Friday, and then Minnesota on Sunday. That's big-time basketball. The Warriors, if they can go 50%, 50-50 in those games, again, on the road against some really big beast of the East. And again, they got Klay Thompson in, so he's still trying to work out. They're not giving him more than 20 minutes a game. So no matter what happens right now, you got to get him 10 games under his legs and see how the Warriors work out with him, mixing him back into the roundup. It's all fair and level war. Really do appreciate so much that's going on in the world of NBA basketball. I love bringing it to you. So it's just Big C's thoughts on Big C's NBA Power Rankings. And because of what happened last night, I was wrong. I thought that Golden State would have gotten Memphis. But I also understand you're working in Klay Thompson. But to go with Memphis number 1 right now in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, they are a 10-game win streak. Isn't that something? They think about their sweep. They've been on a sweep that took them from Brooklyn to L.A. For people who take them seriously, they did. There are 15 teams in Week 13 with winning records. The Grizzlies are an amazing team. They're an amazing team. They're 11-2 since Thanksgiving. Isn't that something? Against the other 14. Phoenix, they're also a good team. They got smoked the other night, but they'll get back. And again, you can't look at NBA basketball the way you look at NFL, because it's like one week you're up, the next night you're down because they travel so much throughout the week. But I'm still good to have Memphis as number 1 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. They beat 11 of the other 14 teams, and they're 0-1 against Charlotte. They have yet to play Chicago or Milwaukee. They'll face them both next week. That's a good team. I'm telling you, you got players. They have a 4-game road homestand, and the one question might be if they'll miss Dylan Brooks, who's 3 out of 5 weeks, has a sprained ankle and suffered on Saturday. So they're going to need him being on the floor. But you got Ja Morant, who would not give a little kid a handshake last night because he was wearing a Golden State Warriors jersey. Just making some fun about that. Shake the kid's hand. He's just a kid. Shake his hand and say, next time wear our jersey. But when you think about it, of their 16 wins, it came against the Warriors in October, and then also in January, the Grizzlies' most recent defeat to the Warriors, it was last month with Brooks. Through the matchup data, says he was more successful defending Steph Curry, who totaled 82 points over those 2 meetings. But then last night, Curry had a triple-double, but they fell to Memphis. It's all fair and level war. I can't wait until we get closer to what's going to happen in the playoffs. Number 2 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors. After missing more than 2 seasons, the great Klay Thompson, the Splash Brother, not going to pass up any shots in his debut season. He launched 18 of them in less than 20 minutes. He hit the highest usage rate of 42.6% of any Warrior player, a minimum 10 minutes played. In a game this season, this guy's amazing. He clearly forced things up a little bit, trying to get his feet up under him, and a lot of people have to do that when they play NBA basketball. Got to get your footing. But he dropped 17 points in the first 3 minutes and hadn't played in over 900 days. Think about that. His return came just in time as they were able to knock off the Cleveland Cavaliers. But they had a good game against Memphis, but Memphis found a way to get it done against Golden State. A little bit of home cooking in my opinion, but I really feel that these 2 teams atop the Western Conference, I don't know if Memphis has the staying power to stay atop the West the way Golden State does, but they may. I didn't think that Phoenix would have got it done last year. I look at the Golden State, the end of stretch where the Warriors will have played 13 out of 19 on the road. A 4-game trip coming up. We just had the first one down in Memphis. And then Thursday, they're 7-2 against the other 7 teams. They've won more than 60% of their games, and they'll face 3 of them this week. I'm telling you, they lost to Memphis, but they have a good chance to make up some ground in their next 3 games on the road against some really good teams in the NBA. That's why they play the game. We play to win the game, even though that's a football. It's a metaphor that works for everything. Number 3 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, I'm going to go with the Phoenix Suns. Them good old boys, defending Western Conference champions after winning their first 9 games against the Eastern Conference. The Suns have lost 2 of their last 3, and both losses New Year's Eve in Boston and then Saturday against Miami. They trailed by more than 20 points at halftime, a line 138 points on 96 first half possessions. They can't do that. They're going to have to fix that, but they're still number 3 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings. They still have the league's second-ranked defense, both in the first half and overall. They still trail at halftime fewer times, 11 than any other team, and they're still tied with the Warriors for the best record in the league. Now you got to look at Memphis still doing their thing. So it's not always about records. It's about who you beat to get to those records. That's important. In a football analogy, if you're winning the NFC West, you have the Rams playoff team, 49ers playoff team, Cardinals playoff team. The only team that did make the playoffs were the Seahawks, and they even beat the Cardinals on the last day of the week. So 75% of the teams in the NFC West are in the playoffs. If you look at Dallas in the NFC East, only the Cowboys and the Eagles are in the playoffs. Washington and Philadelphia are not. So if you have a winning record, and like for Dallas, that I think is going to fall to San Francisco coming up over the weekend, they have a better record. But man, San Francisco also smoked Philadelphia earlier in the season, a team that made the playoffs in the NFC. I think they're going to do the same thing to the Cowboys. But back to basketball, you have Cameron Johnson, one of 3 sons who've played in all of their games this year, shot 48% from three-point range over the last month, the 5th best mark among 119 players with at least 50 attempts over those 31 days, among 159 players with at least 100 three-point attempts in each of the last 2 seasons. He shoots right about 40%, if that makes sense to you. Devin Booker has seen his 9th biggest, and then the Crowder's return is obviously welcome. The Suns have outscored their opponents by nearly 12 points per 100 possessions. They're a very good team. Another team, I love saying this, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. No, hold on. That stat came from like 25 years ago. I beg your pardon. But the Chicago Bulls, the great DeMar DeRozan hit the game winners and put up a team-high 54 assists. But the Bulls' 9-game winning streak, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, and Lonzo Ball, and Nikolai Vucevic all shot better and scored more efficiently, which is a great thing. The Bulls have a great team. They're a really good team. They move the ball around. They have 3 guys who led their teams in scoring last season, 4 other guards with Ball, White, and Alex Caruso. They have just a great team, and I'm looking forward to them making some noise coming down the Eastern Conference, if that makes sense to you. The Bulls had the league's number 1 offense over the course of the winning streak, but amazingly, the last 8 games of the streak came against teams that currently rank in the bottom 10 defensively, and that's what I was saying, that analogy with football. Just because you have a better record, it doesn't mean you play better competition. But they're going to face 5 of the top defenses over the next 12 days, and they're only undefeated teams, 6-0 in the rest of the advantage of games. They'll also have 2 this week against the Pistons, and then they have the Warriors coming up on Friday. They'll be at a disadvantage. They're 4-2 in rest disadvantage games on Wednesday tonight against Brooklyn, 10th defensively, but fading fast. I'm going to take you to the Wasatch Mountains. Number 5 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, the Utah Jazz. Now, through Christmas, the Jazz have been relatively healthy. Rudy Gay missed the first 14 games of the season. The great Mike Conley had been arrested on a few back-to-back occasions, but the other guys in the top 8 had missed a total of just 3 games. And then you have the great Donovan Mitchell, who can put it in the cup. In fact, I got to have an award for players that can drop it in the cup called the Big C Cup. They're going to get the Big C Cup along with the Big C Burger whenever that coffee is introduced. It's all fair and love and war. But then the great Donovan Mitchell missed a couple of games with a lower back strain. Rudy Gobert had missed just 6 games over the previous 3 seasons. He entered health and safety protocols on Thursday and had the Jazz play without the rest of the top 8 in Toronto last Friday. They actually led the Raptors by 14 points in the second half, but they fell when the great Fred VanVleet decided he was going to drop it in the bucket trying to win the Big C Cup. Isn't that something? The Big C Cup. I like that. The Big C Cup, like Lord Stanley's Cup. Maybe we'll get a coffee cup as big as Lord Stanley's Cup. Yeah, give that some praise. In fact, sometimes you go to some coffee establishments, you want a small, medium, or large. We only serve one size. It's all large. Give the large some praise. Give the Big C Cup some praise. It only comes in large sizes. We don't have small cups in the Big C Coffee. Oh, fair, never work. Really do appreciate the Big C Coffee coming. Also, number 6 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat. When you think about it, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo to injuries. The Heat started shooting 3-pointers more than they should have probably. They had good results, though. It didn't come right away. But since December the 8th, they ranked second in three-point percentage at 41% and third in percentage of their shots that have come from beyond the arc at 46%. When you think about this team, you can't win a championship by just shooting threes. Even the Warriors go inside out. The Miami Heat, they lost to the Lakers 2 years ago. And they had a big guy by the name of Bam Adebayo that could get down inside the paint also and do his thing. But the biggest win came in a 23-point victory in Phoenix, of all places. They knocked down 22 three-pointers, tying the franchise record against a defense that ranks second in the league and has really been very good at limiting shots. But you know what? When your shot stops falling, you're also going to start losing games. The great Tyler Herro, bit of a slump at 29%, just like I was saying, over the past 4 games. But he scored a season-high 33 points in Phoenix, but he's still effective field goal percentage at 50%. Think about the numbers. If you shoot 50% from the field, but 29% from three, why not shoot more from the field? That just makes sense to you. When you're hot, it looks good, but when you're cold, you're going to lose games. Having gone 3-2 in the Western Conference portion of their 6-game road trip, the Heat have a 3-day break. They play Atlanta. Tonight, they're playing Atlanta tonight. It's all fair, and Love and War really do appreciate a lot of the things. There'll be a lot of phone calls being made throughout the world when you think about it. The NBA, I hear phones ringing now. They're going to find out who's going to play where. You got to like my new sound effect. I thought I'd try it out. All fair and level war for the platform. But when you think about it, they'll play 8 of their next 9 games at home. They've won 6 straight. They're just a game in the loss column ahead of the 76ers, all fair and love and war. Think about Big C's NBA Power Rankings coming up on number 7. I know everybody has their own opinion, and some people might say, well, why do you have this team that I'm going to mention as number 7 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings? It's because it's my rankings, and I can do what I want to, even if I'm wrong. Like I was wrong on Alabama beating Georgia. I told you shenanigans would happen. Everybody pulled a hamstring for Alabama. I mean, both of the receivers are missing. They were the 4th option running back. Bryce Young only threw 4 interceptions all year, threw 2 in 1 game. Kind of floated the ball. Never saw him do that even in high school at Modern Day Santa Ana. All's fair in love and war. Number 7 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, the Milwaukee Bucks. The Buck goes good. Venison goes good with the Big C coffee. It also can be part of the Big C burger. But they won the most important game of the week. They dominated the Nets from start to finish on Friday. No one saw that coming. Milwaukee accounts for the 2 most efficient games that they had against teams when they played Brooklyn. And imagine if Kevin Durant had a smaller foot. Maybe they would have been the defending NBA champions. But right now, Brooklyn, think about it this season. This victory came at a season-high 27 second-chance points for the champions. They were pounding the boards. When you pound the boards, you got a chance. Now, they got DeMarcus Cousins. He's been waived. I thought they should have kept him. But DeMarcus is going to be fine. He'll land on his feet if that makes sense to you. They've had 3 offensive boards in 15 minutes. And then Friday, but the Bucks have been outscored by 16 points per 100 possessions. That's not good, but they're still good enough with King Giannis to be number 7 in Big C's Power Rankings, the league's best third quarter team, Golden State Warriors, who the Bucks will face for the first time Thursday. Now, their loss in Charlotte on Saturday was the start of a 7-game stretch against teams that currently rank no lower than the Warriors 11th offensively. I think the Warriors got to get that game. Number 8. And Big C's NBA Power Rankings, the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets win in Indiana with Kyrie Irving doing his thing in his season debut. Think about that. Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson, you can count their minutes now. Isn't that something? Because Thompson was injured last 2 years, Kyrie sat out because he didn't want to get a vaccine. And now you have 2 of the NBA potential future Hall of Famers that are playing on the court. I noticed stuff like that. It just makes sense to me. But Kyrie Irving's season debut Wednesday was a perfect display of the margin for error that having a third offensive star offers. They're able to play terrible defense for about 35 minutes and still drop, think about it, 48 points over the final 30 offensive possessions. That's why that team's dangerous. Kyrie dropping 14 of those 48, giving the Nets a much-needed boost in transition. It's just 1 game, but he leads the league with 8 fast break points per game. That guy is like Dr. Drew. Watch that movie. He can get it all. He has a great crossover. It should be illegal. It's so good. The Nets did not have Irving as they fell to 0-8 against other 7 teams that are more than 6 games over the 500 mark. Again, it's not how good your record is. It's how good your teams are. And when they have with Harden, Durant, and the great Kyrie Irving, they're going to be a tough team to deal with. When you think about it, I just love the Nets, the way they play, even though we're looking at Chicago, and we're also looking at Milwaukee in the East, and then even Miami. I like this team as long as they stay healthy with Kevin Durant, James Harden. He's playing more than 43 minutes in Brooklyn, and then the great Kyrie Irving. That's a big advantage. That's a big problem for anybody they face when they stay healthy. Number 9 in Big C's NBA Power Rankings, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Listen, I'm going to say the Philadelphia 76ers. I was trying to sing this song, Philadelphia Freedom. I think that's the great Elton John. And when you think about Philadelphia Freedom, they got the great Joel Embiid, who's amazing. The Sixers have the league's second-ranked offense. Over the 6-game winning streak, Embiid's dropping 32.3 points per game. Michael Jordan averaged 32 a game. The great Joel Embiid, he's dropping 33.2. Isn't that something? His percentage is 66% shooting. He dropped 31 or more in all 6 games. His mid-range is legit. The Sixers' 3 January games have been the first 3 times in which he's had double-digit attempts in the restricted area. You see, he buys into what his body tells him. Get inside and hammer it in the paint. I know a lot of big guys want to start shooting threes, but Embiid knows where his bread is buttered. The Sixers have passed the Cavs in the standings, are just 2 games behind Miami and Milwaukee. They are 3-4 in the top 6, with one of those losses having come with Embiid shooting just 5 for 13 to the Heat last month. Both teams will be playing the second game of a back-to-back when they meet in Miami on Saturday. That's a great matchup coming. You got to know that when you have some big guys that know where their bread is buttered, and that's what you have with the great Joel Embiid. Really do appreciate watching big men go around and roam the paint and not try to become three-point experts like you would have in a Steph Curry or a Klay Thompson. All fair and double war. Number 10 in Big C's NBA basketball power rankings. And everybody has their own thoughts about it. But I'm going to tell you, I know no one really wants to believe this. It's not always about the record. But I'm going to go to, oh, Canada, our home and native land, the Toronto Raptors. It might be time for the Raptors to broadcast to ease up on their Fred VanVleet for All-Star campaign so they can launch the All-Star MVP campaign instead. When you think about it, he's averaging 31 points, shooting 47, 44, and 96 shooting for what's been the league's 3rd-ranked offense. The Raptors have won 6 straight. He scored all 15 points, assisted just 1 of his 5 buckets on a 15-0 run against the Jazz last Friday. He shot 4 for 4 and clutch 3-pointers over that winning streak. A 34-footer to tie the game against New Orleans on Sunday. This guy's amazing. And he doesn't have the stars, the claws down in Los Angeles now playing for the Clippers. But this is a player in VanVleet that's going to carry the Toronto Raptors as far as they can go this year. He's a leader of that team. I know they don't have Lowry anymore, but VanVleet is amazing. He's coming to his own. He's starting to spread his wings. Does the Raptor have wings, or do they just have big claws? All fair and love and war, but he was huge for this Raptors team. I think they're amazing. The Raptors outscoring their opponents by 35 points in his 46 minutes off the floor. VanVleet's minutes have been staggered with those to Siakam, Pascal Siakam, dropping 24 points and 11 rebounds at 6.2 over the streak and 33 points in Milwaukee, 29 against New Orleans. In 2 games last week, the Raptors used a jumbo lineup with Anunoby and Scotty Barnes and Siakam, as well as Boucher and Achawa, and outscored the Spurs and the Bucks by 11 points in 10 total minutes. They're a very good team. I really appreciate how well they're playing. That's it for the Big C's NBA Power Rankings. We're going to take the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When we come back, let's talk about some hockey and also the NFL. In the words of California from the governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 20 podcast applications all over the universe. Sponsored by the Big C Coffee. It's like the Big C Cup. It's like as big as Lord Stanley's cup, the Big C Cup coffee. We only have one size large. For that, your cup. It tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hand. One size. One size fits all. One size for Big C Coffee. Oh, speaking about the Big C Coffee, going to bring you up to the NHL Power Rankings. NHL Power Rankings. The NHL, the playoff picture is starting to take shape, and there's a clearer picture with teams who are going to be in the mix until the end. and which one will fall by the wayside. The only question now is which teams are real contenders for, I just told you, see, I led into it. They're playing for the Big C Cup. The Big C Cup of coffee on ice. You can have it hot, or you can have it on ice. You want your Big C coffee hot, or you want it on ice? The cup is big, like Lord Stanley's cup big. That's what I get to. Oh man, life's funny. The Lord Stanley's cup, which is almost as big as the Big C Cup for coffee. That's what they're playing for. But the thing about the teams that really come alive is the number one, the Colorado Avalanche. They're just beating up on opponents with irregularity, which is the most people expected from this team. Colorado's a really good team. I don't even know if they got their Comcast deal worked out in Denver, if you could even see them in Denver. I knew last year you could not see the Denver Nuggets or the Colorado Avalanche. I believe you can see the Colorado Rockies, but I'm not sure. Hopefully they get that TV situation worked out. But Colorado's 9-1 in this last 10 games, in prime position to take the top spot in the Central Division. Over in the Eastern Conference, they also want to play for the Big C Cup. The Big C Cup of coffee, coming to you soon, is as big as Lord Stanley's cup. We only got one size. One size. People should get no more fish. They smell in your mouth and it's on your head. The Big C Cup. That's what they're playing for. No longer Lord Stanley's Cup. They're playing for Lord's Big C Cup of coffee. Oh, man. The Eastern Conference, the 8 playoff teams have already been decided. But they're trying to figure out which one of those clubs are for real, the real deal. I know it's skating on thin ice for some clubs, but I love hockey. It's a great game. It's cold inside, but you got to see it live to really appreciate it. Kind of like a cup of coffee. It might look good on TV, but it tastes better in your mouth, if that makes sense to you. But you got to figure out the Panthers, the Hurricane, and the Maple Leafs, as well as the Lightning. They're all contending for the cup. But everybody can say that this time of year. How many teams could be surprised in the postseason? I really love NHL hockey. It's just a matter of how well this pushes it on television. Football is the king, followed by NBA basketball, and then you have Major League Baseball. It's always going to be that way for the pro sports. But the hockey it's got a mountain to climb. Number one in Big C's NHL Power Rankings, the Colorado Avalanche. There's some good old boys, followed by number 2. You have the Panthers, really like them. The Hurricanes are coming in number 3, followed by number 4, the Maple Leafs. Number 5, the Penguins. No, that's not part of the Big C Burger. Don't want to eat Penguins. And then you have coming in number 6 in the NHL Power Rankings, the Lightning. I got to get my producer to wake up and say Lightning on that one. But the Lightning coming in at number 6. Number 7, the Predators, followed by number 8, the Blues. I remember St. Louis got the cup done a couple of years ago. The St. Louis Blues did. They're number 8. The Rangers are number 9 in Big C's NHL Power Rankings, number 10. The Golden Knights. Las Vegas has a great sports town now with the Raiders in the playoffs. The Golden Knights going to be doing their thing in the NHL playoffs. All fan level war. You have the Wild coming in number 11, followed by the Bruins out of Boston in Big C's NHL Power Rankings. Number 13, the Capitals, followed by the Kings of Los Angeles. They're not the Kings of LA. That's always going to be the Lakers, no matter who's winning NFL football or baseball games. But the Kings of LA, number 14 in Big C's NHL Power Cup. You have our Power Rankings. You have the Ducks coming in, the Mighty Ducks. They're good. Number 15. Number 16, the Stars, Dallas Stars. Saw my very first professional hockey game down in Miami. It was actually in Plantation, Florida, with Miami taking on the Dallas Stars, all fan level war. That was back in the 90s. Number 17 are the Jets for the Big C's NHL Power Rankings, followed by number 18, the Flames. Calgary's a beautiful cold city this time of year. Then you have the Canucks, Montreal Canucks, number 19. Number 20, the Islanders out of New York City, coming in at number 20 in Big C's NHL Power Rankings. Going to round out with the Sharks at number 21, the Flyers at number 22, the Oilers at 23, the Blue Jackets at 24, the Senators coming in at number 25, number 26, the Blackhawks. Number 27, the Kraken. Let's get Kraken up in Seattle. They're coming in number 27. The number 28, the Red Wings, Detroit Red Wings, all fair level war. The New Jersey Devils coming in at number 29, followed by number 30, the Coyotes. Number 31, the Sabres. By number 32, the Canadians. And that's what I have for Big C's NHL Power Rankings. It's all fair and level war. They're all trying to win Big C's Cup. No longer Lord Stanley's Cup. They want Big C's Cup, which come with like a gallon of coffee. You gotta find a restroom soon. Or do like they did in the Old West, just open the door. We'll take the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, we're gonna talk about a little bit of football in your neck of the woods. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. We follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 20 podcast applications and 4 TV platforms all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. As we say, let's get ready to rumble. We're going to close out today's show with some NFL football. And I know I'm excited about these games coming up over this week as people rise and shine. Every quarterback has to rise and they have to shine. Doesn't matter who they are, whether they're guys that are second teamers or players that are first team. There are 10 quarterbacks right now that have passed for more than 4,000 yards on this beautiful NFL season, even though we have another game. So maybe that's what added some, because last week and the final week of the season coming into it, there were only 8 that had passed for more than 4,000 yards. Just because you're top of the passing leader doesn't mean that you have a team in the playoffs. Number one in the NFL passing for yardage universe, we have the touchdown maker Tom Brady. He's 44 years old. Tom Brady, games played 17 games, 43 touchdowns. That good boy is completing 68% of his passes, 5,316 yards. Isn't that something? It's amazing when you think about it. To throw for that many yards, and he's 44 years old. What in the world? He must eat a lot of Big C burgers. Number 2, touchdown maker Matt Stafford, 17 games. That good boy, he's thrown for 4,886 yards. He's completed. When you think about what he's doing, I kind of got to pause on him because people, Matthew Stafford thrown for 17 interceptions in 17 games. That's not good. You just can't do that. 17 interceptions in 17 games, you got to stop doing that. He does complete about 67% of his passes, but he got to cut down on the interceptions. That means he's due for one coming up in the weekend versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, just because you throw for a lot of yards doesn't mean you're a playoff team. Touchdown maker Justin Herbert, 17 games, that good boy is thrown for 5,014 yards. He's completing 66% of his passes, Justin Herbert. He's thrown 15 interceptions. Tom Brady's thrown 12 interceptions. So that, to me, that's a lot of yards, though. 5,000 yards for a second-year quarterback. And the Raiders could have tied the game and gotten the Chargers into the playoffs, but they said, heck no. They said, heck no. They kicked the field goal, and so the Steelers got in. Number 4, touchdown Aaron Rodgers has only played in 16 games. 16, he's thrown for 4,115 yards. He completes 69% of his passes. Isn't that something? Touchdown Aaron Rodgers, he's only thrown 4 interceptions. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 in 16 games. That's why you want the ball in his hands if you got a chance to win a game. Only thrown 4 picks. Now you got to look at another quarterback that's thrown for over 10,000 yards. Touchdown Dak Prescott. I think he'll see his final game of the year this weekend against San Francisco. He's played in 16 games. That good boy is thrown for 4,449 yards. He completes 69% of his passes. He is very accurate. Very accurate. Only thrown 10 interceptions. So he's a touchdown maker. And something that the 49ers secondary got to be aware of that, even though they got a lot of men up front that can put pressure with Bosa coming off the line. And then I just think that the 49ers have a lot going for them. And this because they're Northern California's only team now, the Raiders left. But that 49er defense, I think they can get after touchdown Dak Prescott without having to blitz. That's what helps the 49ers defense, when you have Bosa and you have also Warner doing this thing at linebacker. Jamie Ward, as a free safety, got to keep his hands up. You got to knock the ball down when it's coming at you. Armstead does this thing also. They have a very good team, this 49er line. They don't have to blitz to get pressure on the quarterback. I think that's going to help them in Dallas. You got to drop a man in the secondary. As long as they run the ball 35 to 40 times, I think they'll win that game. Hopefully Shanahan gets that message and throws out that memo that he has to throw the ball more than 30 and 40 yards downfield. 5 15-yard passes, 5 yards, 10 yards, 15, and let Deebo Samuel do his thing. Let him baptize Dallas in the Bang Bang Niner game. And I think the 49ers have a great chance of winning that game. We got another quarterback touchdown. Patrick Mahomes played in 17 games. That good boy is thrown for 4,839 yards, completes 66% of his passes, and he's worked on this a little bit better in the latter part of the season. 13 interceptions. Half of those, I would say, is not his fault. They actually hit receivers in the hands. But it's all fair and love and war. He won't make excuses. And touchdown Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl experience. They've been to the AFC Championship game the last 3 years. They've been to the last 2 Super Bowls. Man, they're a tough out. The Kansas City Chiefs coming out of the AFC. You got touchdown Josh Allen out of Fireball, California. And then I think he went to Kings River College in Raleigh and then Wyoming. Now he's doing his thing in Buffalo. That good boy, in 17 games, he's thrown for 4,407 yards. He's completing 63% of his passes. And he's thrown for 15 interceptions, which might be a little worrisome playing against a Patriots defense. It's hard to see Belichick getting beaten 2 out of 3. So they split their first 2 games. The road team won both. And now they're going to play in Buffalo again over the weekend. It's just hard to see that the Patriots can be beaten 2 out of 3 by anybody. But we'll see what happens. This really is about the Patriots defense, about touchdown Josh Allen. You got to keep an eye on that. Also, touchdown maker Joe Burrow, 16 games played, 4,611 yards. He completes 70% of his passes. I think the Raiders are in trouble in that game in Indianapolis, or in Cincinnati. But not so fast, my friend. The reason I say that, the Chargers went back to Cincinnati and they blasted the Cincinnati Bengals. The 49ers went back there and beat them up pretty good, even though they had to win with a field goal in the end in overtime. The Raiders can run the ball. They also have a decent passing game, but sometimes they're not consistent. They had a big lead over the Chargers in Las Vegas, and the Chargers came back and tied the game with a touchdown. I mean, it was a touchdown with no time on the clock, I believe, with Justin Herbert. There was no time on the clock. They went to overtime. So they're going to face a similar kind of quarterback in Burrow, and a guy also that completes 70% of his passes. But he has thrown 14 interceptions. The Raiders have a chance, but not that great of a chance. Just my opinion. And so those quarterbacks that have thrown for over 4,000 yards, there's one more and he's not in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins thrown for 4,221 yards. He completes 66% of his passes. He also has thrown, when you look at the interception, that good boy is going to be sitting at home, and he threw only 7 interceptions. So why aren't the Vikings in the playoffs? They just didn't play good defense. He had a pretty decent season for them not to be in the playoffs. All's fair and level were. So those are the top 10 quarterbacks that have thrown for over 4,000 yards in the NFL this season. And I just think it's great when you watch NFL football coming up over the weekend. I know we talked about some NBA basketball, some NHL hockey with the power rankings, and we got a lot of good stuff coming up. I just want to say that for those quarterbacks that can throw for that many yards, you know, even Jimmy G's thrown for 3,810 yards, and Jimmy Garoppolo's played only 15 games, and he competes 69% of his passes. 69%. He has thrown the 12 interceptions, and most of those came on throwing downfield over 30 yards. Keep his passes under 20 yards, you beat Dallas. All fair and level war. You also got in the playoffs Ryan Tannehill. He's thrown for 3,734 yards, completes 67% of his passes, thrown for 14 interceptions. Mac Jones for New England, he's thrown 3,800 yards as a rookie, completes 68% of his passes, keep his passes short, but he's also thrown 13 interceptions, so that's not going to help him. And then touchdown maker Derek Carr, I think about this guy. He's 4,804 yards, completes 68% of his passes, has only thrown 14 interceptions, and he's played in 17 games. I like his chances, but I still think Cincinnati has too much. But if the Raiders have a chance to win it in the end with a field goal, you know Derek Carr's going to drive him in range. All's fair and level war. Our last quarterback, Big Ben Roethlisberger, might be his final game. Has played in 16 games, completed 3,740 yards in passing. He completes 65% of his passes. He's thrown 10 interceptions. So the numbers aren't bad, but it's probably not good enough to beat a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. All's fair and level war. I'm going to close out with tonight's NBA schedule. I know I talk about a lot of things with the NBA, and especially get into the Big C's NBA Power Rankings. They all can't wait to get their hands on the Big C cup of coffee. It's a tasty cup, and it's made with exotic beans. You got the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meats? And then it's complemented by the Big C coffee. It's a tasty coffee, and it comes with, what's all this exotic beans? And it only comes in one size, large, extra large. That makes sense to you. It only comes in extra large. You gotta like it. It's big enough to swim in. The cup's so big. When you want to know how big is the Big C cup, it's like Lord Stanley's cup. Tonight's NBA schedule, January 12th, 2022. Boston at Indianapolis, or Boston at Indiana. And it's Indiana, all fair and level wars. Charlotte at Philadelphia, Orlando at Washington, Miami at Atlanta, Dallas is at the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Already underway these games. That's on ESPN. Houston's at San Antonio in the Battle of Texas. Cleveland is at Utah in the Wasatch Mountains. Brooklyn's at Chicago. What a game that would be on ESPN. And the LA Lakers in Northern California at the Sacramento Kings. All fair in Love and War. Give basketball some praise. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sing like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I float like a butterfly, I sing like a bee, because I got all those Big C burgers in my tummy, plus the Big C cup of coffee. Makes me want to jump around. I think it's funny. The Big C coffee only comes in one size, large. Oh, friend, my beautiful mother always says, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that crap, pick up the phone and ask for help, because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. As we always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.